I'm Ben Lepman, the Voice newspaper sports correspondent, and today I'm in Longbridge at the West Hills training ground to speak to Birmingham City manager Chris Hughton. But what is the key to your success with the fact that a lot of the players no longer belong here, but you're still doing so well?
One thing I've always been keen to state is that when you lose a lot of players like we did, we lost a lot of players in the summer. We lost 3 players in this last window. Is that for every player that goes, it gives somebody else an opportunity. And I think part of the key this season has been we've been quite a small squad. You've got lads that have now had more opportunity than they had before. Players like David Murphy and Keith Fahy that's playing. That's from what's been left behind as such. Have played more football this season than they've done for any time, perhaps in the last 3 years. Players like Jonathan Spector that have come in, playing more games than he has done. Bouillon Beaujour before he left. So for every player that went, there's a player that's come in that doesn't necessarily have anything to prove, but has an opportunity to play more regular. And what's helped us is that all of them players have grasped that opportunity.
Definitely. And when you was in charge at Newcastle, obviously they got relegated and you brought them back up. Birmingham, similar, they've been relegated. You're looking to bring them back up. Is there any similarities there, or like the Newcastle squad, they pretty much had the same set of players? Does it make it harder with this job, or like you said, because they're hungry?
I don't think any of the circumstances, whichever one, makes it harder or easier. It's a hard job anyway, irrespective of whether you've got the best players or not the best players. There are similarities, of course, between my time at Newcastle in the Championship and here. So there are similarities. Perhaps what it is different is that although we lost players at Newcastle, we lost some good players at Newcastle, perhaps the core of the team was still there. So we'd say probably an 11 that went on the pitch were players that were there the season before. But we lost some very good players in, Damien Duff left just literally the first game I think the season, Obafemi Martins, Mark Viduka, so Habib Bey, so lots of good players, but the core was players that had already been there. The difference, of course, here is that the majority left here. So probably out of, if you looked at the team that's played the majority of the games this season, you're really only looking at probably David Murphy, who was here but didn't play so many games. Stephen Khan, Keith Fahy, that again he's playing more games this season, but he's playing in a different position. And perhaps Nikola Zigic, who's been in and out, missed a big chunk of the start of the season. So that would be the difference, is that this would be a newer team.
With yourself as well, I don't like comparing them all the two, but at Newcastle and at Birmingham, situations with the chairman just meant that you didn't have a lot of money to spend. Has that ever been a problem, or because you were used to not spending money, you were used to dealing with what you've got?
No, and it hasn't been a problem, and I think any job that you go into, you can only work around what the circumstances are. If you take a job and you know you've got millions and millions to spend, sometimes that can be more difficult because expectations are higher. What can you get for your money these days? So sometimes it can be more difficult, but you can only work around what the circumstances are. In fairness to the owner and the chairman here, I've known what the situation was from day one. There haven't been any surprises, so whenever we've lost a player, I always knew there was a good chance that we could lose that player. And I think that one helps. If you know what you've got and you know what you can work around, you can act accordingly. And you just hope amongst all of that you can get good enough results.
And I'd like to talk black managers just for a sec. Obviously Keith Cole got hired the other day. But how proud are you seeing Chris Powell doing really well at Charlton?
No, I'm more delighted because I've known Chris for some time.
Yeah.
And it's never easy going into your first managerial position, particularly a job like Charlton where there's big pressure.
Yeah.
They're a big team in that division, and there would have been that pressure when you took the job of being successful and bringing them back up, as there still is. So he would have learned an awful lot in the last 6 months or so. A lot more about himself, about his managerial sort of credentials, and he's doing a fantastic job there.
Yeah, definitely. And with yourself doing really well at Birmingham, is promotion that's your goal, yeah. Or just seeing how things are not getting excited at the moment?
Well, I think any manager in the same position as myself would always try and play things down a little bit, but we know where we are this season, and we know that expectations from more people around us would have changed. We went into the season not knowing really what to expect.
Yeah.
We've played, I think, something like 43 games already this season. We've played arguably some 10 games more than some teams already in this division, yeah. With the 8 European games we've played, and of course at this moment we've also played 4 cup games. So expectations we know can change, and they probably have changed. And I've got a group of lads that very much want to finish the job.
If Birmingham were to get promoted, just how would that be even bigger than the Newcastle promotion for you?
Yes, I think it would. Yeah, I think it would certainly be the best achievement that I've been involved in.
Yeah.
I think because with Newcastle having gone down, with all the personal changes, with everything that was going on there at the club, I think everybody knew it was going to be a tough ask. Yeah. But we certainly would have been right up there with the favourites to come back up again.
Yeah.
Where I think it was different this time. I think nobody really knew what to expect at the start of the season, sort of having lost so many players and some of the difficulties that we had. So I think yes, certainly for me personally, it would be a big achievement.